now for a quick Devar Torah. This week's parsha, of course, has the Decalogue, the Esra Dibrot, or as it's commonly referred to as the Ten Commandments. And it's interesting that it starts off with a statement: I'm the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt. So the question comes up, why does it begin this way? That's not a commandment, by the way. It's a statement. Um, I don't care if you believe in me or not. I am here. I'm your God. I took you out of Egypt. And there's a number of ideas that this comes. First of all, it's the introduction, that everything that follows now we know comes from God. That this is laws that are based on God, on what God wants, not on a human endeavor. There was the Code of Hammurabi that was made by man, and it deals with a lot of laws of how to deal with society. The Decalogue does that too, but this is now putting it to a different level, that this is God who's giving, it's holy. The second thing that is much more important and something very much deeper is God is making a statement to the Jewish people. Do you think I took you out of Egypt because you were slaves? You think I took you out of Egypt because I had nothing better to do with my time? I took you out of Egypt for a purpose. The purpose was the commandments, to keep these commandments, to build a just society, as I see a just society should be built. And this is a very fundamental concept that, God could free all slaves of the earth. And slavery, remember, was very common up until in the western part of the world. Slavery was legal up until the middle of the 19th century. The first country to abolish slavery across the board was England, and then the United States. And in the United States, it was a major war. I think something like 400,000 men died fighting in that war to free the slaves. The point is that God doesn't want slavery. He knows it's going to happen. He knows, but he also wants the Jews to know, I didn't take you out of Egypt just because I'm opposed to slavery. I took you out of Egypt to build something, to make something of you. And this is perhaps the most fundamental of all concepts in the Torah. Also, another major difference between the Torah and the Code of Hammurabi. Code of Hammurabi has different, different punishments for different strata of society. Okay, the punishment for somebody who's wealthy was different than the punishment of somebody who's poor. In the Torah, it's much different. Everybody is equal before the law. The punishment for somebody wealthy is the same as somebody who's poor. And this is a very major distinction. This is where the concept that we have, equality before the law, comes from. It comes from the Bible, from the Decalogue, if you will. And that's why it's very fundamental that we understand all this. So, all this being said, we now understand why it starts the way it does with, I am the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt. Something to think about.